Hello and welcome to another video on TGM Guitars. Just want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed recently. We're heading towards 300 subscribers now, about 230, and yeah, it just keeps going, which is quite cool. I know it doesn't seem like much, I haven't reached 1,000 yet, but it's still cool to see people who are enjoying my videos and choosing to subscribe to my channel. And with that in mind, if you enjoyed this video or have enjoyed previous videos I've done, please consider subscribing, leaving a like rating and leaving a comment. It's good to get some discussions going on in the comment section below. Just don't be nasty, that's all I ask. There's just no need for horrible comments or unconstructive criticism. So I'm always willing to hear how I can improve these videos and become a better YouTuber. So be sure to let me know down below. But anyway, let's jump into this video. Just another thing quickly, I want to apologise for not uploading regularly recently. Been getting back to uni and starting my studies again alongside working, so it's been a little bit intense and kind of concentrating on that, and I know I've let the YouTube channel fall to the wayside, but I promise I'm going to bring more videos soon, and I've got a few lined up, so hopefully they will be coming in the new year. But anyway, let's jump in. So here we are at the close of another year. So last year I did a 2020 overview video where I just went through all the gear that I've got, and I'm going to do the same today, although it hasn't really changed much. 2021 was meant to be a year I go out and gig, so I was making purchase decisions based upon the fact that I was going to be gigging and not necessarily because, oh, I want that shiny new piece of gear, which is a bit of a different view for me. If anybody knows me personally, I just like to buy gear, like to buy loads of it, and not necessarily need all of it. But anyway, it's been a year where we kind of expected it to be a lot better than 2020, but there's still been some roadblocks, still been some issues with kind of getting out there and getting back to normal after the whole pandemic situation. And it's allowed me to make a fair few videos, although I have said I've been a bit lax over the past couple of months. It's allowed me to kind of concentrate on the YouTube channel, and hopefully I can keep this steam going and just keep building a community and subscriber base. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the guitars. So 2021's been a little bit different with the fact that I haven't actually bought any new guitars. I've reacquired an old guitar of mine, but that's been about it. So this section is going to be pretty much the same as last year's video, but I'm going to go through it just for anyone that hasn't seen last year's video, and also to kind of refresh it and update it, because at the end of the day I'm a better YouTuber than I was a year ago, at least I like to think so. So without further ado, let's jump in. So this is a guitar you will have seen a lot on the channel. This is probably my #1 guitar. It's 2016 Gibson Les Paul. It's the Studio Tribute series, the 50s in the gold top, and yeah, it's just a great workhorse guitar. Haven't really done anything to this upgrade wise. Well, I haven't done anything apart from strap locks. So yeah, it's 100% standard, except strap locks. I suppose I shouldn't say that, somebody will call me out on the internet. But anyway, it's just a great workhorse guitar. As you can see, it's battle scarred. Been over this in a video of its own, and using it pretty much every video. So haven't really had to do much to this guitar really, just clean out the pots every now and then. So yeah, it's my Les Paul. Now I'm really just going through my rack back here, so it's not in really any particular order, but this is probably my #2 guitar. But when I think about it, I'll probably have them lined up like that for a reason. It's just easy to grab from my desk. As you will notice, yes, I am in yet a different setting for my videos. It's funny going back watching my videos how many times I've rearranged my bedroom, but now I'm actually in a different room in the house. So yeah, this is where all my guitar stuff kind of resides now, and it's a bit of a different backdrop. But anyway, I need to stop saying but anyway, I say that a lot, don't I? So this is my 2013 made in Mexico standard Stratocaster. It's been upgraded with Tone Rider City Limit pickups just for a bit more of a sort of Stevie Ray Vaughan-esque sound. I've taken the back access cover off simply for easier string changes. When I was gigging almost every weekend, it was just easier to have that gone. Not because I'm a massive John Mayer fanboy and that's how he has his. And also Fender strap locks. But yeah, it's a great workhorse guitar. It's my first sort of intermediate guitar, I'd say. When I went up from playing knockoff Fenders or even a Squier at the time, this was sort of the next level for me. But anyway, that's my Stratocaster, one of 3. Now, this is a guitar that I can go on for ages about, and I have done in previous videos. This is a Starfire by EKS Technologies Fender Stratocaster copy. and was actually my first guitar, which was, when was that, 2005, so 16 years ago now, Christmas 2005. And yeah, it's just something I'm never going to get rid of. It's been upgraded to have dual humbuckers in it. I've changed all the electronics. So all that's original is the neck, tuners, bridge. It's basically most of the main hardware and the body. Again, back access plate gone, simply for ease of changing. It's got a massive crack for it, so I'm not sure how much longer this guitar will last. As you can tell, I've done a rather nasty relic job on it, just because I wanted it to look as old and used as it actually is. So yeah, it's my first guitar. So this is the only change to last year's video. This is a Johnson Stratocaster that I picked up quite a few years ago now. I can't remember exactly how I bought it, but it was £45 in cash converters. Bit of a rarity, this one. It's got a back plate on it, but that's simply because I haven't actually had it to take the parts off of. So the only thing that's really been done to this is I've changed the pickups for the ones out of my Mexican Standard, simply because I had them laying around. I had another Strat, might as well chuck them in there. And also, as you may notice, it has got a Voodoo Strat style pickguard. White guitar, maple fretboard, it just screamed Hendrix. Main reason I bought it, and yeah, that's about it. One day I do want to get a left-handed neck to go on this, but for now, it's just another guitar to have. Sounds different to the actual Fender Strat, and yeah, it's fun to play. Now, this is another guitar that's featured extensively on this channel. It is my Rockets Telecaster. Not sure who Rockets are, still don't know who they are. I'm guessing they're just a budget China make, but it's quite a nice playing guitar. The neck's quite nice. It's upgraded with Wilkinson pickups. I think they are 60 style. It says M series on it, so whatever that means. New electronics because the old ones were a little bit dodgy, and yeah, black pickguard. It came with a white one. I had to change it over to a black guard because it just suits the whole aesthetic and the look. It just looks like a classic Telecaster. I do want to one day upgrade to a Fender, but for now, this kind of just gets that job done and scratches that itch when I need it. It is a top loader, which some people prefer, some people hate on Telecasters, so I don't know, it just works and it sounds alright to me. I've also got brass compensated saddles, another thing I forgot to mention. But yeah, there's a whole video on this. There's a whole video on most of the guitars, kind of going over them in more detail, if that's something you're interested in. So yes, Telecaster. Next up is the purchase that I made last year, just before I did last year's video actually, so it did feature in that, and it is my Brian May Special. I won't call it a Red Special, even though everyone in my family calls it the Red Special, and most people I know will probably call it a Red Special, but it's white, so you can't really call it a Red Special. It's a Brian May Special. I haven't actually done anything to this, apart from stick strap locks on it. I keep saying that, don't I? I haven't done anything, I've just put strap locks on it, which is technically doing something, but it's not really, is it? It's not changing the actual way the guitar plays, but it was literally so I could put a Queen strap on it. You know, worried about buying this guitar because I look like a fanboy, and then I go and stick a Queen strap on it. But this actually gets quite a lot of use in my band, simply because it's the only guitar I've got with tremolo arm, and also we do tie your mother down, so I can't be playing anything else. If you know about these guitars, you've got switches for each individual pickup on and off, as well as in and out of phase. You've got locking tuners, not the ones that you do the thumb screw up, it's the ones that you stick it in as you put tension on it, it kind of locks it in place. 0 fret, and it's just a really nice playing guitar and something different. And that's kind of what I've been going for with guitars as of recent. I'll say that even though I haven't bought any, but I am eyeing up my next guitar, so hopefully it won't be too long before I get hold of that. So that is my Brian May Special. Next up, a guitar that I think is one of the most viewed videos on my channel, and it's sort of split some opinions. People don't like how it sounded in it, some people loved it, some people are telling me I'm an idiot for not knowing how a Bigsby works properly, but I don't really use Bigsby much. I'm getting off topic here, aren't I? Anyway, this is my Gretsch. It's a G2420T Streamliner. So it's from their budget range. They still retail about 400 British pounds, but for that money it's great bang for the buck. Obviously it's a big old hollow body. It's got these Broadtron pickups, which are actually more like PAF humbuckers. Just trying to get my words out today, don't I? And yeah, it's just a nice big sounding guitar that I play rock on, which is probably not what most people use these for, but it sounds absolutely fantastic when you get it for a fuzz pedal with a nice cranked amp. So again, there's a video on this going over it in more detail if you want to know about that. Yeah. So now we're on to this big old lump of wood, and it is quite heavy. This is my Harley Benton jazz bass I picked up during lockdown because I decided I wanted to be a bassist for a little while. I wanted to learn how to slap. Something different to do, kind of got me out of a rut, which was really nice and really good. And yeah, this is, for the price, 120 Great British pounds is what I paid for this. For a real American ash body that weighs a ton. And it's just that classic jazz layout and style, and I can't really complain about it too much. I did have to set it up, as you do with every guitar that you buy, but yeah, that's my bass that I use in pretty much all my cover videos. I've got another one which I'll show you in a minute, but that's still kind of waiting for work to be done. So yeah, it's my jazz bass. It's a bit of a funky order. I know I've gone bass and then back to a conventional guitar, but I'm just picking them off the rack behind me. So this is my acoustic. It's a vintage. It's kind of styled on one of the old Martins. It's got a bit of a soft V neck, which I'm not a massive fan of. I do hope to get a different acoustic one day, but I quite simply don't play acoustic enough to warrant spending the money at the moment. I do quite like the slotted headstock with these kind of vintage style tuners. And yeah, it's a solid workhorse guitar, does what it needs to do. And as I said, I don't play acoustic enough to warrant getting another one, so this kind of does the job. So this rather dusty old thing that's been gathering dirt, this has kind of been sitting behind my guitar rack, and yeah, I probably should have cleaned it before this video. Give me a second. In case not as grotting out, this is a Rick's Precision bass copy from a music shop called Rick's. I'm not sure if they're still around in the UK, but my parents bought this for my brother. At the same time they bought me that black Strat that I showed you because he wanted to learn bass. Ultimately, I ended up with it because he didn't really pick it up and play that much. So it's got a twisted neck, needs a whole lot of work doing to it. These pickups are garbage. The guitar has seen better days. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but it's gouged, scratched. It's in a horrible state, but it needs a new neck, new strings, all that, new tuners, because one of these does actually fall apart unless I glued it back in place. But maybe I'll get around to doing this one day, maybe with a nice little video to kind of go over some basic stuff. So yeah, that's the P bass. And going to go on and show you something now which I haven't seen before, but I've been kind of documenting what I've been doing with it, so hopefully one day the video will come out if I ever get around to finishing it. Okay, so I know this is obviously just a body, but I have got a neck, it's just somewhere. I have to go searching for it. But this is a project guitar that I've been working on throughout last year. It was a twin humbucker SG style bolt-on neck. I've reprofiled it, put some contours on it, filled in a couple of the holes here with a rather nasty block of wood in the back, but it gets the job done. And the plan is to turn this into a SG Junior style of guitar. So single P90 here, gonna go for an olive drab green finish, and yeah, that's my plan for this. Hopefully I'll get round to actually finishing it off. I've just got to do some more sanding, obviously route out the pickup cavity, drill back through so we can get all the wires into the control cavity, and yeah, give it a paint, and off we go. So the neck is somewhere. I've basically sanded that back completely to a bare maple neck, and I kind of prefer guitars like that without the finish, so I'm going to leave it like that. And yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing this in a video at some point next year. Hopefully I'll get around to finishing it. It's been kind of an on and off project I've picked up when I've had the time, and yeah, watch this space. Okay, so moving on over to Ampland. Excuse the fact that I'm currently headless. I am a little bit too tall to fit in this frame. We've already got the camera position, but these are the 3 amps that I had last year. The Marshall, this is a DSL 100HR. Great amp for gigging. Did a video on it, calling it maybe the best gigging amp you can buy on a budget. So Again, a lot of mixed reviews on that. We've got some people calling it a toy, saying unless it's got 4 inputs, it's basically a toy, and I've just knocked something there. Hopefully I haven't damaged it. So yeah, a bit of an interesting take on people. They don't seem to like it if people prefer to save money, but that's the way it is. Personally, I don't have thousands to spend on a vintage style Marshall, so this does the job for me. It gets me the tones I want, and it's good enough. On top of it, we have got the 1960 Infinium from Bulgaria. So this is a clone of a 1959 Plexi, 1959 being the model number, not the actual year it came out. And yeah, it's got the cascaded gain Randy Rhoads mod on it, and do plug into it occasionally and quite like the sound of it. So that's staying, as are all of these. I'm not planning on actually selling anything. And on top of that, again, I know it's like a triple stack at the moment with only one speaker cabinet. This is my vintage V55 Infinium, so it's kind of a bit like a Blues Deluxe, but not, can't remember exactly what preamp tubes and power amp tubes in it, but there's a whole video dedicated to that. So occasionally use this for nice clean tones. That's mainly what this amp is there for, and does a good job at that. And please excuse me, because I'm now going to have to adjust the camera because yeah, these guys stand so tall that the box doesn't fit in. Okay, so this is the biggest purchase I've made this year as far as guitar equipment goes, and this is my Vox AC30C2. Obviously from the guitar, you know I'm a Brian May fan, and I've had a Vox on my sort of bucket list of amplifiers for a little while and kind of bit the bullet. It was actually kind of around New Year's last year, and it came in around January. So technically I bought this amp last year. It was just a little bit too late to be featured in that video, and of course in January makes it this year. So yeah, great classic Vox sounds. This is my main gigging amp. Got a whole video on this, whole video on the pedals, and yeah, what I'm actually going to be using live. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And then last but not least, the actual speaker cabinet for my Marshall. This is a 1960A vintage, so it's got the vintage style speakers in it, and yeah, that's my amps. I'm going to get up off the floor now before I get cramp in my foot. Right, so this is probably the other big thing that's changed this year, and that's to go with the new amp, is my pedal board. So there's a few new pedals on there. The way I route it and use it is a little bit different, and it's the comeback of the Big Shot ABY, which I didn't used to use on the Marshall due to the multi-channels. So everything is controlled by this Harley Benton switcher. Great piece of kit, stops all the tap dancing, and it's a nice budget friendly alternative to the big boys that you see, like the G2, G3, and also your Bosses. Some of them can get quite expensive when you get to sort of more than 3 or 4 loops. This is actually 8 loops, which you can split and have 2 independent loops, or jumper like I've done. Controlling the tuning is my Korg Pitch Black Mini. So I was actually trying to get a Polytune, to be honest, but they didn't have one in stock when I was buying it, so I ended up with that, which I've got to say I wasn't disappointed with the alternative. It's great, easy to see, and yeah, keeps me in tune. Well, it doesn't keep me in tune, it allows me to keep myself in tune. Right, so if we go from guitar in, so everything comes in and out via this custom made junction box, that's what I was looking for. So from there it just keeps everything tidy and easy to plug in and out during gigs. So we've got the guitar, it goes into the silencer. So I'm using the effects loop on this to take some of the hiss out of some of these pedals. Where they're made from kits, they can be a little bit noisy every now and then. And also with the amount of gain that I sometimes use, it's just easy to keep it in check. And also I turn it on when I'm using the Gretsch because of feedback and all that. So we've got it going into that. It goes into here. So first one we got in line, it's a little big muff from Electro Harmonics. Great sort of fuzz pedal, nice and thick sound. I do want to get a more vintage style fuzz. Same vintage style fuzz that was designed in the 70s, but you know what I mean, the 60s sort of Hendrix style fuzz. Do want to get one of those at some point. For now, that scratches the itch. Then we've got the Hot Cake and Berries from Jed's Peds. as I've said before, with everything in this video, there is a separate video for pretty much all of this that goes over those sounds so you can hear them and also have a bit more detail on them. Then we have next in line the Super Clon, again from Jed's Peds. I use it for quite a high gain setting, which is unusual for a clon. Most people use them for a fattener and always on pedal, but that's how I use mine, so it does its job. It sounds good, and yeah, it gives me the sound I need. So that's why it's set like that. If you think I'm absolutely crazy. So from the Clon, we then got the Tube Screamer. This is the Tube Screamer Mini from Ibanez. It's one of the quintessential pedals you've got to have, and yeah, this mini one sounds great. I used to use it a lot more when I was using the Marshall to boost my solo tones. Still use it to boost solo tones, but probably not as much. It's a bit harsher in the mid-range with the Vox. But let's carry on, not get too bogged down in that. Next we got the May Boost, which is a Fuzz Dog pedal. So that is a copy of the old TB83, I believe, from Pete Corniche, that Brian May used to use kind of late 70s, early 80s, so it was before the Magic Tour. I had to have a treble boost, so I've got a Vox, I've got a Red Special, a Brian May Special. 10 other people off earlier for calling it that, even though it's not red, but I've got a Brian May guitar, so I've got to have the pedal to go with that and the amp. Next up, we have the MD500 from Boss. Absolutely brilliant piece of kit, does everything I'll ever need as far as modulation goes. Got it connected up to this little foot switch down here. I bought a foot switch for cheap, thinking oh that'd be great, except the fact that it was latching foot pedals when this needs non-latching, I believe, or it might be the other way around, so I had to put new switches in it. So yeah, end up spending probably the price of what I'd spend on a Boss one, but it gets the job done. Allows me to change patches without the double click, which I've had some horror stories in the past where I've turned on effects that are not meant to be turned on, and yeah, that just kind of moves everything down here and gets that out of the way. So I'm using both channels in this. I'm using it as the A and B split, which I can then have turned on individually via the loops, and yeah, it just allows me to get all my modulation effects. And from there comes out of my switcher. It's the ABY, which I use to go between the two channels of the Vox, the treble boost and normal, and back into the junction box. So yeah, hopefully that's made some sort of sense. It took a lot of wiring. Oh, it's all powered by the True Tone. Let's see if I can turn this over easily. One Spot Pro underneath here. I've tried to keep it as neat as possible with the wiring, which is great until you have something go wrong, which something did last rehearsal. So I've got to fault find this at some point, which means all of this nice, neat, tidy wiring will probably end up being ripped apart. But yes, it's all powered by that. As the biggest upgrade I made this year, I was using a couple of cheap kind of made in China power supplies to power this whole thing. It's great having the one single unit that's mounted underneath properly with a proper bracket, and yeah, does everything I need it to do. So yeah, it's my pedal board. So that concludes my 2021 gear rundown. I know I just went through guitars, amps and pedals, but it's kind of how I'm going to keep it. If I go over all the recording equipment and how I actually do all of that, it will end up being a much longer video than it already is. And I have to apologise, at some point my lapel mic became unplugged from my audio interface, which means the audio may have gone a bit rubbish at some point because it would have switched over to the camera audio, but hey, these things happen. It's all recorded now and I can't go over all of that again. It's taken way too long, and I've got other things to do today. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, subscribe. There'll be another one of these next year. Hopefully I will have bought some more stuff. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to try and get back to doing more regular uploads and kind of get going in this new year. Try and get my subscriber count up, get more videos out there for all of you to enjoy or not enjoy. Just let me know below and tell me ways that I can improve. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.